You're welcome to Weekend Deal.
Thank you.
I mean, from the laughter here, just tells you what we've been saying. They're just tensioning us. See that picture where they put their two hands together? Must you put your two hands together like that? Oh, you're welcome to Weekend Deal.
It all speaks to the amazing relationship that they share.
Okay, so their profiles together, obviously, because they are a couple, but his wife is Dorothy Hersey. She is a grief educator and life re-entry. Am I right?
Coach.
Yes.
Coach,
Yes.
yes. So, I mean, you're welcome to Weekend Deal.
Thank you very much.
So, I mean, I will start from the real beginning. And like I said, before we came on air, your relationship and your love is palpable. You come into the studio and we all felt it. I mean, how did you build this? I mean, I'm not jealous, so, but how did you build this? I'm not jealous. Wait, see. So, Dorothy, take that.
So, background story.
Yeah.
I was married 2009, and then my husband died 2018 November, and he was married, and then he got divorced, and we met.
You have to put your hands together to emphasize the met. We know you have met. We can see your patience. Then we met.
Then we met.
We met, though. We have met.
We have met in NTA. We are still working in NTA. We met.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You know, it's particularly beautiful because it's like a second chance story. And a lot of people
Yes.
think that once the first one, something goes awry,
Yeah.
it never gets better. But
Yes.
this is just a testament to the fact that you can always find love.
Yes.
Wow. So tell me, what was it about her that you saw, that you said, for my second one is Dorothy? What was it?
You know, because I support a lot of businesses, and it's usually a very intense experience. The first thing that attracted me to her is how solid she is, very stable. She's hardly moved by any pressure or tensions, and that was very remarkable for me. Because coming from the background where I'm a community leader, I do a lot of business work, and there's a lot of pressure and having to work on several people who look up to you. I needed to be with someone who is stabilizing.
Grounded.
Yes. So she grounds me.
Wow.
And that really was the first thing, and it's been so since we met.
Very interesting. We thank you for the level of ground. You are breaking ground here with us today. Thank you, Dr. Samufemi and Dorothy. We're going to do it together, and you will enrich our lives by association, the entire nation that is watching us today. Very beautiful story. Second chance at life, second chance at growth, second chance at meeting you all and impacting us. Yes, look. You've already said you are together now. We know. We want to now spread your experience national. So not everybody will be looking for love or wants to get love today. They want to tap into your innovation and ingenuity. You know, Dr. Sam, I've read about you. I've been opportune to hear other people talk about you, but I've never heard your story such as it is today. So I know that we'll delve in. But I'm curious about Dorothy. Very curious. When you say re-entry, life re-entry, grief educator, life re-entry, what does I understand the grief educator part of it. What does life re-entry mean? Do they exit life because they've been, they've faced loss, you know, and how easy, how do you prepare people for that re-entry?
Okay, so most times when people face loss or great trauma, it seems like all hope is lost. It seems like, where do I go from here? There is nothing left for me. For some people, either whoever they've lost, their parents, their children, their spouse, anybody's like, that was my whole life. So it's like my life has ended. I'm still alive, but I'm not living.
Yeah.
So life re-entry means taking those steps, small steps daily to re-enter life. And one thing that grief does is that when you experience a loss, it changes you forever. I tell people, I used to tell him that if he had met me maybe before my late husband died, he might not have liked me. Because the Dorothy he met after my husband died was a different, or is a different Dorothy from the Dorothy before 2018.
Wow.
You had to intentionally become grounded?
I think I've always
Or
been...
take a different path?
Yes.
What's different from that Dorothy and this one? How did
So the
loss change
Dorothy,
you?
yes, the Dorothy before 2018, I have always just been just me. People tell me, oh, you give good counsel, you know, you talk well, you advise on relationships and
Yes.
all that, but you know, I never took it serious. I just felt it was one of those things. So people are drawn to me for advice and counseling. But I've always just been there. I don't do public speaking. I always like being at the background. So I can even write and give you to speak. I just didn't like being in the limelight. But after 2018, because of what I experienced, you know how our culture here is about grief and death and widowhood. So I just felt, if I'm going through this, how many other people out there are going through this? So I started speaking out about things that I experienced as I went through my journey of being a widow. And I realized that people were like, I thought it was only me, you know, so it now narrowed the gap. People were not now feeling isolated in their grief, because now it's like, okay, it's not just me. There are other people that are experiencing this. This thing is normal. You know, some of the things that I experienced, like forgetfulness, I used to tell people I had the, you know, brain or the memory of an elephant, but I became very forgetful. I became, you know, so for some people, when I shared it, they were like, oh, I thought something was wrong with me. So I was just grieving. So some of the things that we don't speak about, it now seems like you're not well. There's something wrong with you, but there's nothing wrong with you.
Okay.
So that is what, you know, that's the me now.
Now.
Use your personal experience
Yes.
to help and change and transform the life of others.
Okay, but Dr. Sam, I'm really interested in you because coming from a relationship that did not work, you understand? And we must also say that we are in a society where a whole lot of relationships are not working. Because I have not been able to understand how we come from I love you to becoming strangers in marriage. And that's what's happening. So what lessons did you learn from where you were that you are bringing into this relationship? Because see, both of you are like young lovers. You're like 16 years old
See our
lovers.
hands again. Every sentence.
They are like this. We are together.
When we met.
We
When
met.
you're talking, you must be doing your hands.
We are
When
together.
we met. Hey, that's the
Tension
reference
us,
point.
oh. Sam and Dorothy, finish us. Oh, yeah, tell us.
Oh goodness. So it's a roller coaster. You know, most times, like she likes to say many times, nobody planned or nobody plans for a divorce when you're getting married.
True.
It's not something you say, okay, I'm getting into this marriage and then in 10 years time I'm going to leave it. It's an unfortunate outcome. And most times it's more like a last resort. When you have attempted to salvage a situation and it's not really working, and either parties begin to feel that life-threatening situations may be present, or you're not just getting any headway, it's very okay to exit. What are the lessons I have taken from my former marriage? First and foremost is around appreciating yourself, placing value on yourself. And this is very key even for
both
those
parties?
Yes. The individual who is getting married must place premium value on themselves. Because what you get to experience in your marriage is a function of how valuable you see yourself.
Oh, that's profound.
Yes, because what happens in many marriages, especially around abuse or around any form of inferiority or any form of oppression, is because one party has ceded their self-image and they are subject to anything that happens in a marriage. So many people who are still in a marriage that they really know cannot work are not able to leave because they have not placed premium value on themselves, which brings about the second issue, the issue around what will people say. And so the second lesson I took away is, at the end of the day, it falls back to you. Any decisions you make over time, people get to respect the decision. And that's very key. And one of the things I am enjoying in my marriage now is the fact that I'm able to talk about my wife, talk about my relationship, talk about my marriage, talk about my children very confidently, knowing the things I have learned over the years. And it has become like a compass. So it's very key, because most of us, especially maybe the African or the Nigerian man, struggle with flaunting our wives. It looks like, oh God, what's wrong with you? Be a man. You know, but one of the things I'm happy to be able to do is I love whom I'm with, and I'm able to tell everyone, you know what, you can be happy when you know you made this choice to be with this person.
Let's allow NTA Port Harcourt, because they are focusing on building relationships in marriage. NTA Port Harcourt, please join this conversation.
Mentions NTA Port Harcourt took us through, and with a theme we can share them with our friends here. You have become family members, and we're learning. We just heard earlier on, we spoke to Dr. Sam, right? We want Dorothy to weigh in, but let me also add what we just learned from Port Harcourt. The fact that you've married your helpmate, a person you understand almost 99.9%, doesn't completely say that there won't be some rough turns and twists. They may come in. So it's our hope that the understanding will help, cement things. There is that talk of forgiveness. Does forgiveness depend on the level of the wrong, or you forgive absolutely everything? Does forgiveness come after apology, or are you just to forgive even if there's no apology and all that? And also add that to what we asked Dr. Sam earlier. Like, he spoke from the male perspective. He's been intentional. He wants to make a difference, and a lasting one for that matter. Hence, the whole Nigeria and the world is looking onto you with joy today. Give us the woman's perspective. Sometimes we need to submerge us to the point where we're sinking. The water will get to the nose, but the man can't see because he assumes that is your role. You go down, and I rise. Help the woman, help us to be able to present it honestly and lovingly to the extent that he buys in when necessary.
Okay. So let's address the forgiveness. So most times we look at forgiveness like it's for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. So when you see it as for you, there is no condition to it. It's unconditional. Because for every time there is an offense, you find out that when you're holding on to it, you don't function properly. But when you release it, so sometimes people think that if I forgive, I have to continue or maintain that relationship as it was. But it's okay for you to put boundaries. So forgiveness is for you. Because what does forgiveness mean? I release it. I'm not holding on to this offense, this pain. I release it. And then I do my thing, with or without you in that space. That's the boundary that you create. So when we look at forgiveness from that angle, I think it makes it easier for us to say, okay, I'm doing this for me. And since it's for me, I have to do it over and over, whether there is an apology or not. Because sometimes some apologies will never come. And then you're bitter, and then you're sick, and then you're not moving forward because you're holding on to an apology that might never come. Sometimes the person has even died, and you're still holding on to the person did not apologize before they died. And now what are you doing with the offense? There is nobody to give you that apology. So you, by yourself, you have to release it.
And this goes beyond our spouses or
No,
partners.
any relationship you have, like, because there will always be offense. At your workplace, with your children, in the church, in your religion, anywhere, there will always be offense. So you have to decide. It's a decision that you get to take by yourself without anybody forcing it on you. So when they tell people you have to forgive, no, you don't have to forgive, but you have to want to forgive. Because you're doing it for you, for your mental health, for you to be stable.
And they even say long-term bitterness has found to be one of the causes of cancer.
Yes.
Shows that.
Yes,
so it's
it
even
is.
integral for our
It
health.
is.
The other part, we're being submerged. We don't want to drown.
Are we being
in
submerged,
some cases,
or we submerge
in
ourselves
some cases,
sometimes?
yeah.
Well, sometimes
to
we
keep
submerge.
a relationship.
Yes. So just like Mr. O had said earlier, you have to place value on yourself as the woman. Because sometimes it's because you don't place value on yourself that the man does not even see value in you. But you have to place value on yourself over and over and over again. So that, because I think, when did we have this conversation where we were saying, I don't know the statistics, but most times you hardly see a man put his life on hold because he got married. You hardly see a man not pursue his career, drop his friends, stop his hobbies. A man does not do that. But for us women, meanwhile, we're the ones that can multitask. Oh.
Yes.
But for us women, we just feel, I have to just be this role. Wife. Then when children come, mother. Sometimes wife and mother. Sometimes we now keep the wife. I've done wife. I'm now mama, somebody.
And that's where the trouble even starts.
Yes, that's where the trouble starts. Because these children now grow and they leave, and then there are two strangers living because you've left that relationship.
Yeah.
It has gone stale and sour. You guys are now strangers. You don't know yourselves anymore. Because over the years, you focused. And then the man sees that, oh, okay, she don't send me. Let me do my thing. So he's rising in his career. He's achieving all his dreams. Yes. Meanwhile, you had dreams. You had dreams to write a book. You had dreams to travel. You had dreams to go back to school. You had dreams to start a business, to run a company. But you say, let them grow up, let them grow up. And then, yes, you now become mama doctor, mama engineer, mama lawyer.
And then they grew.
And then they grew. And they start their own lives.
And then you are.
And the nest is empty.
Yes, the nest is empty. And then you're now blackmailing the children. People don't call me. Don't come back home. And they're wondering, this woman leave us alone now.
Oh, my goodness.
And we know you're our mother. We love you. That's where I use the last wrapper on my back to take care of you. And the child is wondering, did I ask you? You brought me into this one. No. You know, our mothers can blackmail.
I sold my gold. I sold my last gold. To pay for your master.
Exactly, because I wanted you to. And the person even asked you, I did not ask you. I did not ask you. And truly, they did not ask us. So as women, we have to also learn to prioritize ourselves.
And build our dreams alongside.
Some people will tell you that, oh, if you pursue your dream, the home will scatter. But the home is not just for one person to build.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Both of us are building this home.
Yeah.
There is a balance. I work. I'm a career woman. I have my businesses. I've written books. I've just not gone back to school. Some people like books. And that one is a choice. It's not because it has anything to do with childbearing or anything. Some people like book. I've left it for them. Doctor, professor, like this.
We know them.
We know them. You know, but for every...
Very nice. Yes, very
but
nice.
for every dream I've always wanted, I pursued. I'm still pursuing. There's nothing that is stopping me. We have 4 children between us. There's still, none of them is even in the university yet. They're still secondary school and primary school. But we do our thing. And the thing about this is, mothers think, oh, I'm doing this for the children. But children are seeing you. Some children might grow up and become resentful. They're not even proud of you. You've not developed yourself. Wow. So where other children are saying, oh, my mother is the DG of SEC, and then they are here wondering, my mother just remained. Even if you had a first degree or a master's, but you just remained there all these years, 40 years, 30 years.
You stayed at home.
Even if you were not a stay-at-home mom, you get. But you didn't develop yourself.
You didn't go after your dreams, your aspirations.
So for some children, they now become ashamed of you. For some of the girls, they look at you and they're like, is that all there is? To just get married? And that's why you see feminists and people not wanting to get married, because they're wondering, my mom just got married and
that was
Is this it?
Then they see your before picture, you were wearing mini skirt and what do you call that? Keep Lagos clean and all those things. And they were like, my mom was a babe. What happened?
Was it marriage?
Was it marriage? And that's their conclusion. It was marriage. It was when she became a mother, when she became a wife. She stopped. She stopped all this.
And I don't want that to be me.
I don't want that to be me. Some might now feel, this is all there is. Okay. So you are now telling them, do your masters, travel to the moon, do this. And they're wondering why.
You, uncle.
Why? I thought this is it. Now, my own is to get a man and marry and have children. And that is it. So because the children are seeing, they are learning.
Yeah.
So we as women and as mothers, we have to do better.
Yeah.
We have to do better because we think that staying and submerging, that's why I said, are you sure we're being submerged?
So
We submerge ourselves. Because we actually delegate it and hand it to the man. And when you give it to him, he'll do what he pleases with it.
You know, there's a very thin line,
Wow.
very, very thin line between handing over and it being handed over, and
Yes.
the rules being handed over to you. And it's that delicate line that we need to
Delicate line.
fine-tune. And good a thing, all what you have shared with us has impacted us. Patience, you want to take it from here?
Yes, I was going to even say that, you see this thing you've just talked about, most times it starts going wrong from communication.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's communication. Okay, so you, as a woman, you have all these dreams, and then you're not able to articulate it in such a way that the man buys in or whatever, and then the man just thinks, okay, she wants to, and that's where
Yes.
trouble starts. So how
Yes.
do we communicate in marriage? Because they said building relationship, in whatever relationship, be they colleagues, partners, communication is key.
Yes.
How do I articulate my dream in such a way that my husband or my partner will buy in and say, okay, I'm going to support you.
Yes.
So tell us, I want Dr. Sam to react. How do
I like
I
this
bridge that?
question.
Yes.
I like this question because coming from where we both came, we had challenges with communication. I wasn't communicating. At some point in my former marriage, I just locked up. I was just doing my thing. Like,
Was there a reason for that?
no, because we had a lot of ideological clashes. And when we couldn't reconcile our ideological standpoints,
You decided to just
everybody
shut
just
up.
decided to do their thing. And then she also, having lost her husband, and she had some challenges too with communication. When we started, when we were friends and we knew, okay, there was something in this friendship, we decided to explore the relationship. We have what we call hard talk from the beginning. I'm not sure there is any topic that we have not talked about. Even before we decided to get married, the moment we knew that, okay, we liked each other, we're going to have a relationship, it was something, and I give her credit for that because my default is to just follow, just be doing. So she would ask questions. I'm not uncomfortable answering the questions, but I won't initiate them. And over time, in the last 5 years of our friendship, it's something that has become like a major pillar of our now marriage. We call it hard talk. We talk about every single thing.
Amazing.
Now, we have background where, because of how we were raised, we're very sensitive about choice of words and approach and manners. We factored that in our conversation. So we're empathetic in the conversation. We have no confrontation. We have like rules of engagement, how we present the conversation, checking in that, okay, you're comfortable having this conversation. And it's something we've done, rinse, repeat, back to back for the last 5 years. So now we're very comfortable. There's no conversation we can't have. So I agree with you when you say it really begins with communication.
Yeah.
If the man and his wife agree to not have any mystery box, the marriage would likely work. I won't say it will work because there's no absolute.
Yes, it's not.
But the chances are higher that your marriage will work if the man and the wife agree that there is no conversation we will say no go area. Let's talk about this thing. Let me know where you're coming from. Let me know your perception around this. For example, we have what we call date nights. And we have questions some random questions. She has this very interesting handle on Instagram she follows that they ask random questions. And we do that spontaneously. She just can wake up and start asking questions. But you know what? It used to look like fun, but it has become a very integral part of our intimacy. Because you ask questions that even you never thought of. And in having those conversations, you're expanding the gray matter. You're getting to know that, okay, this is how this person thinks. These are the areas this person is sensitive and touchy. These are the areas this person is open to. These are the areas that this person doesn't want to go to. And, okay, why don't you want to go there? What's happening? So we have the conversation, but it's information for me to know that the fastest way to stress this woman is to go this route.
Oh.
And the fastest way to make her be at peace is to go this route. So hard talk is something we are proposing to people in relationships, whether you're married or not, provided you have a romantic relationship with a person. Explore hard talk. Come to a place where I'm safe to have conversations. And one thing we do is we don't have conversations and start saying, oh, you said this, okay, so now I know, like using it against each other.
Yeah.
Because there has to be safety.
I was going to go there
in
because
hard talk.
Safety in
you
that
give
conversation.
Yes, there has to be safety.
You
You
give
don't-
some information and then they start
Yes.
using it
Using it
against
against
you.
when you're in a relationship and you're exploring communication, the communication is not to become a weapon. You are not giving information that will be used against you as a weapon.
Don't regurgitate.
Yeah, so there are several levels to this communication thing, but really, we just need to be interested in making the relationship functional, healthier, in the interest of the parties involved in the relationship. There's no relationship that is for one person alone. If one person is the only person benefiting from the relationship, it has become a parasitic conversation.
Wow. And that's not what anybody wants at the end of the
Nobody
day.
wants that.
Okay, very interesting dimensions we're taking in this conversation. We are learning. You know, nowadays as adults, we find it very challenging to be honest. I used to use the word brutally honest. Some people don't want to be. They don't really believe that if I open up totally to him or her, she's going to understand. And I know that many women are willing to understand and empathize. Am I speaking for all women? Okay, it's Weekend Deal. Very interesting convo. I know your messages are coming in. We'd love to know your polls, how you're feeling our polls here. These are amazing people. Amazing people we have here. Dorothy and Sam. But we'll see them again. They're here. The show has not ended. Oh, please keep your messages coming in. We'll take a second, break it back on now. We'll come back.
You must have relationships that are good enough for you to stay comfortable in the office. But how do you not cross the line, because it's an official place of work?
Yes.
So you want to keep it as official as possible, yet build relationships. How do we balance it?
That's a good question. First and foremost, the people at work are emotional people. We usually will say emotions drive people, people drive performance. And so in the workplace, the emotions predominantly at play directly impact on performance, irrespective of industry and sector. So the driving force is positive energy. The driving force is harmony. The driving force is support systems. The driving force should be healing. We're a team of people that have different traumas, different upbringing, different pressure points, different challenges. Some are coming from families where there are terminal issues at home, loved ones having terminal sicknesses. Some are coming from backgrounds that are completely messed up. Some are coming from backgrounds that are wholesome. They come into the place. Those that come from a wholesome background are threatened because they are vulnerable to those who come from a background that need help. And then those that come from a background that need help are meeting people who are wholesome, and there's this place of, I don't know how to fit into their life because they seem completely
So complete, okay.
So the workplace is a very sensitive place where people should become better, not just about the work. Because everywhere you have worked, there is a tendency that that relationship is a lifetime relationship. So some of us that have worked 20 years ago in some places, we now meet somewhere totally outside the country itself. And so workplace is not just about all you come here is to do your work, face your work, and go your home, and you just be professional. No, there are levels that are beyond that. So workplace relationships should be geared towards making sure the individuals in that workplace become better off by the relationships in the workplace.
Let me go to the community. It's almost like the same narrative.
Yes.
We have now we have high walls.
Yes.
You know, we all come from Abuja is like no man's land. We've all come from different parts of the nation. Let me use here as an example. It's also happening in our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
We are unable to, that warmth we had when we were younger, when I was young, I could just be lost from 8 o'clock till 8. They know once it's 10 to 8, maybe there was a program, maybe it
Yes.
was news, maybe it was Kokora done or something. They know
You
I
know you'll
will
be
come in
running
with my
back
entire entourage. 8 or 9, they were all male. I was just walk in. Nobody worried, nobody
Yes.
wondered. If I was missing, if my mom saw one of my friends during the day, he would tell her where the rest of whose
Yes.
house we were in.
Yes.
That is no longer the case now. In fact, we intentionally protect our home, our brood.
Yes.
Is there a way we can go back to where we were? Are we missing something? Are we not handling some things well? The advice that Dr. Sam has brought to the workplace, can we also interpret it in our neighborhoods and communities? Will it work?
To an extent, no, because it starts with trust issues.
Yes.
We have a lot of trust issues. We don't trust our neighbors. We don't trust even the security that is guarding us. We
Yes.
don't trust them. We don't trust anybody. Some people don't take their children to their parents. Say my mother beat me when I was growing up. So they don't take the grandchildren to see the grandparents. Or if they're going with them, if they're going there, they have to go with them. So there is a lot of trust issues. So that you see that even in schools now, they don't beat, there are certain forms of discipline that they don't do because don't touch my child. So now we're more protective, which I don't know, it has its good and not so good side. You know, we're more protective. And because we're more protective, these children are sheltered.
Yeah.
These children are
Shielded.
not street smart. They're book, tech, give it to them now. But I used to tell my daughter, you know, the third one is 12. I used to tell her that when I was 8, I was cooking. I was going to the Angwa
Neighborhood
to go and be
markets.
buying things.
Yes.
And she'll be looking at me like, are you sure? So go and ask your grandma now. Thank God she's still alive. Go and ask your grandma. You know, but we've so shielded and sheltered these children that even conversations they don't know how to have. So they go for children's parties and everybody is on a device.
Yes.
Nobody sees a strange or random just and initiates a conversation anymore. Sometimes like go and meet this person. Just say, what will I say? And say my name is. So coming back to the neighborhood, we've lived in this house for how many months now? Maybe 8 months. I can't tell you that we can name more than 1 or 2. And maybe till we leave that area.
Even as cheerful and as enlightening
you
as
will
you
carry your cheerfulness and somebody will be wondering, what do you want?
Oga, is
Oga, is there any
everything okay?
problem?
Is
Maybe you
everything
came to
okay?
beg for something. You know, so you meet a wall and they're wondering, okay, my name is this, we just moved in. Okay, tell us the reason why you are in front of my door. So you see, maybe there is maybe an estate meeting and you guys will greet yourselves and it ends there. Tomorrow everybody is in their car and just.
But can we help our children better?
We are not
They will not have
doing
the
it. How are we
experience.
helping?
They
We're
will not have the
doing it.
experience that we had.
We had it, but we're
Yes.
not practicing what
Practicing
our
it.
parents did now. Now we're not doing what our parents did.
And it's not a function of what you tell the children.
It's not what you tell them, it's what they
It's what they see you
you
do.
You don't go to your neighbor's house. They are not going to relate with the neighbor's children. No matter how much you say, oh, go and play now. See them, go and they're wondering you why not playing with their parents. It's me, I said, because they're seeing you and what you're doing. Before, during Christmas,
Hey,
plates like this, warmer.
I will carry food on
Good
my
time.
Carry
head there.
food
From
there.
the
That,
field.
that estate, 20 people, you will go to 20 people's houses and you will have 19 plates in your
Yes,
house,
house.
including your own. Everybody
No
else.
matter how small
No
or
matter how
big,
small, no matter how they just made it, or nobody
we
cared.
take it with love.
But now you hear of people dumping, like even for neighbors that still do that, you hear people dumping it in the trash.
Yes.
Because say, I beg you, these people are this, these people are that, I don't know what they put. These people, and then that's how the gap keeps widening, it keeps widening. And I honestly don't know how we can help it.
Well,
So right now, it doesn't even need high fence.
Yeah.
It doesn't need high
The
fence.
fence is
Fenceless.
psychological.
Yeah.
It's even,
It's already
what
there.
do they call that?
It's borderless, fenceless.
No, the house is,
Okay, yeah.
Even if they're
Shared
fence-
blocks.
they shared blocks. So it's not as if your wall is even different.
no,
If
no.
you knock on your wall, they will hear.
we run it each other
But
every day.
yes, we run
every
it into
time,
each
and
other
then
and
we
we
just
just
mind our businesses
move on.
and then we move on. Okay, so let's take some messages. Nigerians are interested in our show and they are writing in. So, good morning. This is very important, educative conversation you all are on. Thank you so much for having it. Please, how do you handle a partner who avoids conversation totally and is defensive when discussing? Nancy from Lagos. Okay. You say you have discussed so many issues, but you've not discussed the African norms and beliefs of marriages, especially in the area of financial obligations, money matters, husband and wife's responsibilities. Please talk about it. Okay, I like your analysis on this topic. You have touched all very important aspects. Please help me thank both guests. Okay, so thank you. What do you say if you are bent on communicating with your partner who is insisting that you talk too much? So I decided to keep quiet and allow peace to reign. As a Muslim, I like to stay away from anything Allah detests. Almighty detests divorce, and I will not venture into it. So I just keep quiet. The messages are coming in. I don't even know.
But it's so painful.
It's
when
stressful.
you have a heart full of nice gist.
Yes, and then your partner
can't share it
says
right in your home where you should be at your most comfortable.
Frustrating.
Okay, so okay. Hello everyone. Love what Dr. Sam said about complimenting and helping your husband. Please preach this to men. Currently, I am divorced. I am separated. My ex saw me as a threat and that I'm too strong instead of appreciating all that I bring to the table. Now she's separated. There are too many sad. It's only God that can save my marriage. I don't know what to do again. Communication is not working. Understanding is not working. I am almost getting divorced.
Wow.
She added, after I put my all.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Can they begin to
yes, talk about some of these things.
To them gradually?
I want to talk, let's talk about the finance part.
Yes,
and the
money
roles
in marriage,
and the responsibilities. Because there's also this challenge around married people thinking this is the husband's work, this is the wife's work. While we can assume traditional roles, in practice, at least from how we have evolved, we're not stuck on if he doesn't do it, nothing concerns me. If she doesn't do it, nothing concerns me. We are not like that. Because even with respect to finance, we know that we have a family to raise. We have 4 children to take care of. We have our own fantasies and dreams and luxuries to cater to. We have our parents to take care of. We have dependents and loved ones we want to care for. So at the end of the day, we have a list of projects. See the things we want to do. As the monies are coming in, we are finding which one should we prioritize. Just last week, we have this furniture project in the house, and she got some funds, and she's like, should we mobilize the carpenter? And I said, you know what? I know that is important, but I don't think it's urgent. And she said, yes, it's true. We just looked at which other item on the list of projects is most important right now, and we put funds there. This marriage thing is 2 people that want to be together. It's not supposed to be, if you don't do it, I won't do it. If I don't do it, don't do it. It now looks like war. So for us, and we think that couples should show compassion to your spouse. The state of the economy is tough enough. Don't make it tougher for you people. If it's 2K you guys have, what can 2K do in this house now? Let's do it. Let's look for the next 2K. Do the next one. Let's look for the next 2K. It's not a function of I have my money, she has her money, my money is our money, her money is her money. You are stressing yourselves. Now that does not remove the fact that it is such a beautiful thing that when she makes money, she's able to decide how she wants to spend money. These are conversations. That's why I say hard talk is good. Let's have this conversation. If money comes in, how do we deploy our money as a family? How do we deploy the resources that come into the family? So it's not like creating a rule, a hard rule. It's a conversation around, as man and wife, what can work for us here? Because sharing this on live TV does not mean that it's applicable to everyone.
Everybody, yeah.
But you both need to sit down and say, in our own house, how can it work? Someone was asked me recently, should I create a joint account with my spouse? I said, it's not me that will tell you yes or no. Because in my own house, we don't have joint account, but the money is so mixed up, like it's as good as having a joint account. we know each other's revenue, income, and all that. Doesn't mean that another family cannot say joint account we work.
We work for
So I want to really just point out that anything that will make your home a happier place, explore it. Don't create rules that create stress. There's too much
Please,
stress.
this message is very important because you're speaking to it. Say, what do I do? What do I do for a woman who prefers conversations with people outside the house the moment she starts having money? Than no one can talk to her anymore. Although we are separated, that once she has money, she doesn't talk to him again.
Should he now go talk with her? But perhaps we'll come back and attend to that very juicy question after we take our third and I think our final break on Weekend. I'm learning. You know, it's a good thing we're humble enough to admit that life is a learning curve.
Yeah.
And as long as you stay a learner, you always be the better for it. Our break is now. We'll see you on the other side.
Welcome back. So messages are coming in. Let me quickly take this message. Please, good morning, house. I love this topic, building relationship. Honestly, I have learned a lot. Thanks to all the team members. My own issue is that my neighbor has bewitched my wife. Can I have spiritual advice from Dr. Sam? Okay, another one says, I don't know. Season greeting to the couple and both of you anchoring. I want to find out if the relationship between offsprings of their past marriages are working together, that are your children all together in this thing, and are the couples living together? This Ayodeji Ogedengbe.
So he has 2 daughters,
Oh, beautiful.
and then I have a girl and a boy. So between us now we have 4 children. His daughters are older. So right now we have a 15-year-old, 13-year-old, 12-year-old, and a 10-year-old. That's the boy. He's the last. And so before we got married, when we're just friends and all that, the children used to meet. So birthdays, visits, sleepovers, the children used to meet. So they were not strangers to themselves. And then so when we decided we wanted to be a couple and a family, we each had conversations with
your own
yes.
children.
So I spoke with mine, he spoke with his, and the general reaction was, we're not surprised. It was like, who else could it have been? You get? So I think that made the transition easier. And then, so when we all started living together as a family, of course, there were some tensions and some, because now it's like, oh, we're not just coming to do weekend and go back.
It's now
we're here. We're now here.
I have older sisters.
all of a
We have
sudden.
older sisters, we have a brother,
Yes.
and all that. And then all of the things my daughter said was, phew, she's no more the firstborn. I said, you're still the firstborn. Everybody has.
And perhaps she's not the one doing all the dishes now.
He calls his second daughter lastborn. We still call her lastborn. Yes, we still call her lastborn. I still call my first. You people are still in that position. Don't leave it for anybody.
That's
So
beautiful.
in the house now we say we have 2 lastborns.
Yes.
Yes,
2
she's
firstborns,
2
2
firstborns, 2
That's-
lastborns.
Thank you to Dr. Sam Obafemi, life coach and business consultant, and Dorothy is amiable,
Beautiful.
intelligent, brilliant, warm partner. Dorothy
Supportive
Hesse,
wife.
a grief educator and life re-entry coach. You've given us a new vibe today. I'm re-entering with Vibrance. We thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Today. In fact, you are family members.
Yes.